do.
Let this asshole down.
Ours! You made it. I didn't doubt that you would, of course, but my patience was beginning to be tested. Let's start with a formal introduction. You are the tourist, and I am Jean-Baptiste. JB for short. There now, we can proceed to matters of more profound consequence. It is my understanding that this gizmo here would be of use to you. It's all yours. Consider it a gift. And when we are finished with our conversation, I will provide you with the missing dial that you'll need to operate it. Sound fair?
Sounds fair.
Terrific. Now, I prefer to play it straight. Once I received word that you were collecting these devices, and to what purpose, I saw an opportunity to connect with the city's most illustrious survivor and have a chat about the reserve. So I made it a priority to acquire one, through various means I will not divulge. And now here you are. It is my hope when I am through, you will see the reserve for what it is. Nothing more than a crutch, holding back the people of this fine city from regaining themselves.
You've piqued my interest. Go on.
I am a firm believer in the greatness of humankind, our ingenuity, our art, our towering scientific achievements. This reserve nonsense, even if the rumors about what may be inside it exceed our wildest dreams, the bounty will only prolong our addiction to survivalism as the only path in life. It will stifle our creativity. It will eventually lead to our withering doom. Now, this is the proposal that I have for you. continue your search for the reserve. And when you unearth it, which I have the utmost confidence you will, destroy it. These 4 numbers will disable the entire flood contingency system. Mother Nature will rage through the reserve and take care of the rest. 1006. Flood the reserve and set us all free. Give this still glorious city the jump start it needs to refocus on something much grander than mere survival. Grant us hope, tourist, and thank you, most sincerely, for hearing me out. And let's keep this chat between us, if that's all right. I'm not sure my comrades would see the big picture benefits of removing the reserve from the equation. The floor's now yours, my friend. Anything on your mind that requires clarity?
I'm curious about the reclaimed.
Yes.
The reclaimed have made quite a mark on the city. How did the movement get started?
After my exile from the tower for insubordination, I took to raiding their supply lines. Rather efficiently, I might add. No one ever got hurt, and other exiles clamored to join my operations. Needless to say, Mama and her cohorts were not pleased with my exploits, and they sent several communications asking me to cease my pillaging or there'd be consequences. Of course, I refused. Politely. No one was gonna dictate the terms of my existence anymore. But it wasn't until the tower started sending thugs out to track me down and end me that I decided it was time to send a message of my own.
I have some other questions for you, JB. I want your perspective on the reserve.
Uh-huh.
If the rumors about what's inside the reserve are true, wouldn't it benefit the Reclaim to get your hands on it?
You are absolutely correct. But once those supplies are gone, then what? The same old fruitless pursuits. And there is the very distinct possibility that the tower gets to it before we do. The only way to guarantee this city will move forward in the proper direction is to remove the reserve from the equation entirely.
I have some other questions for you, JB. I've heard enough.
Fair enough. Then we're finished here. The dial, as promised. Godspeed, tourist.
Finally meet, tourist. After all the hype, you're not exactly what I expected. Thought you'd be more put together, bit more danger to your presence.
You know who I am, but I'm not sure I know who you are. I have a guess, but...
I'm Georgia. Maybe you heard of me, maybe not. I could give two shits. What does concern me is the man inside the building you just stepped out of. The time has come to silence him once and for all. Cut off the head that won't shut up. Rest of the reclaimed fools will fall back in line. Then us tower folk can get back to doing what's right, without all the noise.
From what I know about JB, it may take more than you and a couple of goons to take him down.
You a real smart-ass, tourist. I fucking love smart-asses. Especially when I've snipped the tongues out of their smart-ass mouths. But I'm willing to give you a pass on your smart-ass ways. Just this once. I'm gonna offer you an opportunity to be a hero. You game?
That depends. What the fuck do you want me to do?
Quit fucking with me, fool. You know what I want. March back up into that house and kill JB. Prove you are worth more to the tower than the cockroach you've been so far. And in return, all your fucked up transgressions will be forgiven. If you happen to find yourself in the midst of our onslaught on the reserve, tower troops will have your back. You have my word.
I take no issue with killing JB. Consider it done.
No nonsense. I dig it, tourist. I'll let you get to the deed. We'll be waiting, right here. But don't keep us waiting too long. My patience has a limit.
I don't even like the way you walk.
You've returned. To what do I owe the pleasure, tourist?
Tower troops are outside. They want you dead. I suggest you get out of here.
Well, look at you, tourist. Choosing sides. I suppose that's a good sign regarding our previous conversation. For a rogue spirit, you certainly have proven pivotal in the fight for the soul of this godforsaken and still glorious city. I have no designs on escape. I plan to march right out of this house, gun drawn, and send a message. If you feel like joining me, I suggest you keep up. When it comes to violence, I am decisive and swift. You don't actually think you can intimidate me with violence, do you? You don't actually think you can intimidate me with violence, do you? Put your weapon away, please. And let's return to civilized discourse. A threat like this seems beneath you. Put your weapon away, please. And let's return to civilized discourse.
I dare you. Try
What a
something.
waste.
I smell something rotten.
That's wise.
Hey,
Hell out!
leave,
asshole!
Wanderers.
Keep your
Did you
eyes
take
on
care of that fool?
JB is dead.
The tide has fucking turned. Thanks for doing what needed to be done. From this point on, just keep steering clear of the tower, and there won't be any issues between you and me. I'm not a fan of issues, in case you couldn't tell. And when this shit with the reserve pops, I'll make sure tower troops have orders to steer clear of you.
Wanderers. I smell something rotten.
What was that?
This asshole was
Oh yeah!
trouble over here! y'all.
These things.
Walker in sight. Finish it quick.
Walker on me. Eyes up for more. Who's sneaking around? Advantage is ours.